Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. If you're joining through Grace and Grit and watching us live, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to see you. It's a little something new that we're going to be doing and try to do consistently once a month. And Marielle, if you would take it and explain to people what this is all about, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Kayla Ness and I, we have been working there are some really amazing people in our organization, and we have come up with this Rising Star Spotlight where we would love to just recognize these amazing people and bring them to you, really. So you get to see them, you get to know them, and you get to learn from them. And somebody that we have been really, really inspired by and really motivated by is Isabella Grumblatt and her amazing upline, Jennifer Ewart. They have been working really closely together, and we really just want to learn from them and kind of hear their story of their success. Isabella, I know that I think she signed up 7 people from the last mega party, and she's been coming to all of
Crazy.
the calls, right, Kayla? And it's just, yeah, we're super excited, Kayla. Just inspired by her, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is awesome too because recruiting is such a big part of our business. We want to, grow our teams, bigger paychecks, bigger communities, all the things. So we're like, okay, we need to really utilize recruiting. And like Marielle said, Isabella is like this shining star right now. We're like, okay, so we're going to, pick out some people throughout the months, and come on here and interview people. So yay, Isabella, we're so excited.
Yes. And I think it's super, super, super common for most people to find recruiting as the most intimidating part of our industry.
Absolutely.
But it is without a doubt the number one profit center. It's
Mhm.
absolutely where people can it's like an investment. It's like, when you do shows or when you take orders, that's cash, okay? That's a cash transaction, give and take, it's over. When you build a team, you are building residual income. It's like investing in a 401k. It's like super, super brilliant. And there truly aren't that many people, myself included, that take advantage of that facet of our income from day one. And I feel like that's where we start with Isabella and Jen, is that the first time I saw your name, Isabella, was like on a free jewelry call. Like I saw your name early on when you first came on board. So Jen, do you want to kind of, as her recruiter and leader, set us up for how you guys got to that point and how that happened?
Yeah. It's funny because when I first met Isabella, actually, we've kind of been round and round of like, how did I first meet you? Because we can't like put our finger on it, but we were in like a mutual party of another company. And I like sought her out and like she just was very like charismatic to me. And so I think that's really how it kind
So
of.
wait a second. I got to stop you there because that in itself is a training thing. So you were both invited guests at another party online
Right?
for
That's
a
what we
whole
described it.
different product, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were interacting with each other in that party, and then you reached out to her because she was probably very like involved, engaged in that other
Well,
party.
at that point, she was selling and representing another company. And so that's part of this too, is though my approach was, oh my gosh, you could totally do jewelry along with that, right? Because I knew once she was here and once she started to realize what our programs were, that I could outshine another leader, I could outshine another profit program. I can do like that's the easy part. And so, I think I even purchased from her other company, right? Like I really wanted to just get to know her and what she was all about. Her customer service in that other company was fantastic. And so I really was like, oh yeah, okay, listen,
You
ever
bring
heard
up
of
a really good point there too. And Isabella, you can tell me if this is true. But I know when I was selling something else, if somebody immediately took the approach like you need to look at this, you right away, you almost found it offensive. Like you're saying, when I'm not doing it, but probably very brilliant way to do it is to say, first to start to build a little bit of a rapport, and then to say, you should do this right alongside it. And then let her make those choices later about how much more profitable all of our programs are. So Isabella, right from the beginning, you were going after the recruiting aspect, or you were inviting people to things. Tell us what your line of thought was. What was your thought when you came into Parklane?
So I do what I'm told, and I so yeah, I mean, as soon as I joined, I saw how successful both Jennifer and Michelle were, and so I started going to all the trainings they were doing every week. I started doing everything that they said to do, and once I found out about the free jewelry call, I mean, it's just so easy. Like, why not do it? So I was like, okay, I don't know how to recruit, so I'm just going to invite to this free jewelry call and see what happens. And so I just started doing that consistently and eventually started seeing the rewards from it. So, I mean, it's handed to us on a silver platter. I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah, you said two very powerful things. And again, I know because I was one of them. So you started going to all of the trainings and looking at everything from day one. See, most people don't do that, myself included. We think, oh, I just want to do, dabble. Like, I don't want to be part of the cult. I know how people think. But from day one, you're like, if I want to be good at this, I need to find out what the people that are being successful with it are doing. And you went to everything. So you said you had started inviting people to the free jewelry call immediately because it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, we don't do like the Zoom call anymore, but what we do is we invite people to watch, and we have them either join the Grace and Grit studio, really is where we put them so they can watch. That sounds very simple, Isabella, but can you share with us, some people I don't know if you can give us exact words, but can you kind of tell us how you invite people to something?
Yes. So I keep it super short and simple. I do not write long paragraphs. So I don't have time for that. I have 3 toddlers and I'm pregnant again. So I'm tired. I do things when I can. So I send really short wording and I just say, "Hey Jen, I try to invite a few friends to our free jewelry call every Monday night. It's tonight at 6. Are you available to hop on with me?" And that's all I say.
Perfect.
I think another really cool thing to highlight is that when Isabella was first starting too, she was really focused on building her network and trying to meet new people. That was something that she was really intentional about. And I would love for her to share what that looked like for her as she was just trying to expand and meet new people.
So true, because no matter our age, our experience, whatever, there's so many people that say to me over and over again, well, my friends haven't been supportive. And it's like, hey, if your friends don't like jewelry, then you need to go to find people who do. So yes, that is a very good point. How did you expand your network?
Fun fact, I had 2 launch parties. So I was a very slow start, but I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. So my first launch party, I only had 2 people order. And then I was kind of discouraged for a little bit. And then I messaged Jennifer back the next week and I was like, I want this to work because it's amazing. I was seeing just how much fun Jen was having, really, and my other companies were not that fun, and I needed something fun. So I was like, I want this to work out. I'm gonna make it happen. So we scheduled another launch party, and I just started messaging everybody on my friends list, sending out personal invitations. I got a ton more people in there. I qualified. I got parties booked, and we just kind of kept the ball rolling from there. So. And now,
were you discouraged? Because sometimes I think the recruiter's the problem because they go, "Oh, she only had 2 orders; it's not going to work." Were you discouraged?
My favorite thing to do in circumstances like this is, because this happens often, right? Even regular parties, you have parties that you're like, oh my gosh, it's not even qualified. What am I going to do? And actually, I literally just had this conversation with a host from last week this morning. Is what I do is when a party is like, right, I move it into a messenger party. And I say, you know what? let's try a different approach. Let's try to put your friends into a messenger chat. Let's do an earring party. Let's just really focus in and narrow it down to something very simple, because we know if we can have 10 people order impression earrings, that's a qualified party.
Yeah.
Right? And so just to really, for me, in all aspects, I just try to say, nope, we're just going to take it. We're going to pivot and we're going to try a different approach. And that's exactly what we did. And it was so super successful when she had that messenger party.
Well, you know, the whole tortoise and the hare and all that. I would say you were a little bit of both, Isabella, but as your leader, I noticed a progression. So I noticed in the beginning that you also were on every free jewelry call. So you couldn't always talk or whatever, add to it, but you were always on. And I think that made the people you invited feel like you were there too. Mm-hmm. But I also noticed, like, when we would do the Google surveys, that people went from it just seemed like almost all of your people for quite a while would put like absolutely no interest or whatever, or almost as if they were there to get the free jewelry, but there wasn't any whatever. And then I started to notice a difference in, I don't know if it was the interest in the people you invited or how that happened, but did you feel that progression? And could you, I don't know, like, could you give us any hints on how you changed the type of people you were inviting?
So instead of inviting just random people, I would focus on hostesses. Do you want to sit with me? Okay. I would focus on my hostesses because I love to flip parties.
Yeah.
They're just the easiest recruits right there. So as long as I could get them on the free jewelry call, that was my main focus. And just recently, I've been really intentional on who I'm messaging and who I'm inviting. Like if they do something else already, if they're good at it, I will just tell them straight up, like, hey, I think you're really good at what you do right now. Have you ever thought about doing this? And then I invite them to the free jewelry call. So I really have been more intentional about who I'm looking at and what they already do and who I'm sending friend requests to. Like if they have a picture of a dog as their profile, I don't send them a friend request. I just don't. And I do look at their profiles too first. I look at their feed and see how much interaction they have on their feed already. If they post a zillion times a day and have 0 likes, and I'm not friending them. So I really kind of look at all that stuff now and kind of gauge.
I think that's right. And I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth right now because I think this is important to say. You don't really prejudge who you invite to the free jewelry call. You were inviting no matter what in the beginning. And some of them probably changed their interest level. They didn't know why they were coming to that call, but then they did. Or maybe they were on more than once. I definitely saw that happen. And you know what, you guys, what a simple tip. You invite every hostess. So you almost act like that's part of the show, right? Okay. The Google surveys would come through, and of course they all come to me and or Michelle, and we look through them all. And then I would send a copy of the Google survey results to both Jennifer and Isabella. I think that was a very important part of the puzzle. Tell me how that went, Jennifer. What was the purpose? You know, I did on purpose, but I know that you were involved in that too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Isabella and I have a very close relationship as far as, you know, like our chatting every single day of like, hey, how's it going? Hey, what are you working on? And so this was just another dynamic of our natural conversation of what's happening during any given week. And so, you know, oftentimes I kind of already knew who she had coming or what the potentials were or just kind of those ins and outs. And so when those messages came through, either it was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is so exciting. Okay, what are your next steps? Oftentimes she would tell me, oh, I already have a decider party set up. It's going to start on Thursday. Right? Like she was already like, she knew what I was going to ask. So she already had everything like lined up because, you know, those were the expectations that we put from the beginning of you invite somebody to the free jewelry car. They have a decider party. We set up their lunch. Like it's just check, check, check.
So somebody puts on their Google survey that their level of interest is like intrigued, tell me more, or their level of interest is like right in the middle of the scope, let's say, what, and I've always asked for what their objections would be or why they wouldn't want to do Park Lane. I do that on purpose. And they say something like, I'm just worried about time, or I'm worried that I wouldn't be good at it, or I'm worried that my friends wouldn't come. Is that something then that you would coach Isabella? Like, no, we don't just not contact them because they're a 3. Tell us some of the things you would coach her to say.
Definitely. I think that we do a lot of like screenshotting of like, hey, this person said this. What do I say back?
Yes.
And so absolutely, then I would say, hey, try this approach of, so is the time really the only thing that's holding you back here? Like,
yes.
And just kind of work through whatever those objections are. Then I would say, try this. Or she has gotten so good at those at this point now, right? She is just like, okay, this is what I told them, right? And she's like, oh, I already told them Park Lane's way better than blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's fine. Like, they're going to sign up. So she's gained that confidence because we started off of like, okay, yes, try this approach. Say this. Now, you ask her that question because she's the one that handles those objections now.
Yeah, very well.
I just got to say something. So I'm sitting here listening and I'm learning so much from going, okay, Isabella decided to sign up because she thought it was fun. Well, then she got discouraged because my launch party wasn't good, but she wanted it. So then she did a launch party. And then now she's recruiting like crazy. She was kind of nervous, but now she took the action to actually do the free jewels call, to actually, you know what I mean? I think this is also cool. And you're a busy mom. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just so cool. You wanted it. You just keep going. So now you're just exploding. It's so cool. I love it.
Isabella, I'm not downplaying what you do because it's absolutely wonderful. But you keep it pretty simple, don't you? Because you don't have a lot of time.
I love it.
You use the tools that are there. Use the free jewelry call. So tell us about the mega party, because you don't just invite people to a mega party like on a huge Facebook invite and get 7 recruits. So tell us about some of that.
Oh my gosh, that mega party. It's crazy. So the first recruit was the big one, and she was actually in another jewelry company. And I don't even know how we started talking, but I was like convincing her how we were better, but she was coming back at me trying to convince me how they were better. And with everything that she like threw at me, I just threw it right back. And I was like, well, this is why we're better. Every single time. And so we went on and on, like back and forth for like 5 days. And then she was finally like, okay, we'll try it. So she signed up, and we were doing her launch party in a messenger chat since we were putting all her guests into the mega party. So there weren't a ton of groups to get confusing. And during her launch party, like 3 of her friends in there were like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. We want to do it too.
Oh my
God.
God.
So she herself got like 3 recruits.
Wow.
So between both of us, we had 9 recruits in the beginning of January.
Oh,
absolutely insane. Like, it was like the domino effect. And then my second one, though, I just met her in the beginning of December at a vendor event. She was the only person that bought from me in that vendor event, and it was a big order. So I followed up with her again, added her to my community group, and she kept placing orders, like big orders, like once or twice a week. And I was like, this girl's crazy.
Yeah.
But I invited her to the mega party, and she was having so much fun. And I was like, she was about to place another order, and I was like, girl, you obviously love this jewelry. Like, you would have been qualified already if you were just using your own purchases. I was like, do you want to try this? And I was like, Mary Grace is being generous and refunding some kits. You might win. So we got her to sign up, and she did win. She was so thankful, and she is qualified now, and she actually has her first party going on this week. So it's super exciting just to see things keep rolling. And then one of my other gals has just been a long-time customer, and we were just doing a regular party during the mega party. And then I told her how much her paycheck would be, and I was like, I think you'd be good at this. You want to give it a try? And she did. And so that's just, I offer to everybody, all my hostesses. And again, if I think they're going to be great at it, I will tell them straight up. And
Those simple words are very impactful because people don't very often hear that they'd be great at something, and it's so flattering. You know, guys, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you what you just heard there, but I know you heard it. Did a single one of those come running up to her and go, "I'm in"? No. Every single one of them, Isabella had done some kind of other follow-up. I mean, obviously a lot of back and forth with the lady that had another jewelry company, but you continue to watch them have fun. You put them in front of all of the other people within our organization who are doing videos and stuff so they could see all those different personalities, which is another benefit of the free jewelry call, right? I think sometimes we all try to do too much by ourselves, and it's like, it's not about getting credit. It's about the fact that many people think each of you is so good at what you do that they couldn't do it. Then they see someone like me come on with a bed in the background or whatever and a baby in my lap, or they see, truly they see these different ages, different demographics, different people all succeeding. It's super, super powerful. So Isabella, I am so excited to watch you do even more and more. I wanted to have both of you on because I think the way you worked together was incredible. And in both cases, you're checking in with Isabella. Isabella's checking in with the customer. There's all kinds of circular follow-up going on here that is super, super important. And does everyone say yes, Isabella? Does everyone say yes to you?
absolutely not. But you know what? You just get over it and go get another yes.
Exactly. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Well, take us to the conclusion, Marielle and Kayla. I'm loving this idea of yours. I already have next month's plan.
I know. I was just thinking exactly what Kayla said earlier. I'm sitting here taking like mental notes. I'm like, I am learning so much. Just the face, the launch party that failed, and then, it wasn't as good. And then you took it to, a messenger party. Never thought of that. I am, this is just, I feel like it's kind of mind-blowing information. And what I really like about Isabella,
does it help to have them something to invite them to at all times?
yes. And
Marielle, do we have anything to invite people to?
oh, wow. You know what?
What?
Kayla, what do we have coming up every month now? Do you know?
I'm like, why are you putting me on the spot?
I like it.
Obviously, every week there's a free jewelry call. Put them in the Grace and Grit studio, invite them to watch. But also every month, and you guys are in charge of February's, is
a jewelry. We're calling them jewelry jamborees.
correct.
So every month we are doing them. We did just finish off the January one, which I thought was fantastic. And now we're going to have one. Kim and I were just talking earlier. We're working on the February one, and then every month, and it's going to be the third week of every month. There's going to be a live that Mayor Grace goes on and do. And this is something really nice for you to kind of like, it's like a little mini mega party where you invite your guests, your VIPs from your communities can come and join this. And who knows, maybe you'll have another. You get some more in that.
Yeah, so Marielle and I, we're going to be doing like the after party. We're going to be doing a live, like a recruiting live. We're going to post questions that everybody in this party can ask about our business and, all the things. And then we're going to go live, answer those questions. And then we always do a giveaway too. So this is something super cool. I love this idea. I'm super excited because recruiting, like I said, is a big part of our business. So yay.
It's our thing this year. So keep your just be aware that those things are happening weekly and monthly. I know Shine On, the Michelle Zito organization, they have monthly, all these kind of things for people to participate in. Just know that those are there. And if you get confused, reach out to your leader and say, now, when is this? And then get yourself in some really good patterns, as Isabella did, to invite people and make sure, well, I know every single week she has somebody on those free jewelry calls. It's amazing. And it really has paid off. So congratulations on all your success. And thank you so much. I know that you learned from watching other people. And thank you for being part of our learning process. You helped a lot of people today. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Marielle. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, me. I need a challenge. Okay. So I am going to do a challenge. So what I do is when somebody's on the free jewelry call and fills out the free Google survey, I curate jewelry to their taste. I find out what they like. For anybody who has somebody on the call, I'm going to do the same for one of you. So let's really fill up that free jewelry call. They're Monday nights. It's 6 Central. We run them in the Grace and Grit studio. And I mean, if people can't be there live, then they'll catch it some other way. It also streams into your Shine On Party group. And we always stream it into the current party group that's going on for the jewelry jamboree. So just inviting people is going to get them in front of that. And I want to do a curated jewelry package for one of you for having somebody on there. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you. Bye, everybody.